In the previous video, we configured our AWS account in order to be able to deploy a Jupyter Notebook server to an AWS instance. Now we're actually going to launch that instance. We're going to make a new cloud-based instance that we're going to put our software on. So in order to do that, we are going to click this big blue button right here, Launch Instance. We're currently on the EC2 dashboard, as we were when we finished the previous video. And we're going to click Launch Instance right here. So there are 7 steps in the launching of a new instance. We're actually going to skip through a few of them, but the first one is definitely critical, the choosing of an AMI, an Amazon Machine Image. And we're going to choose Ubuntu. I always choose Ubuntu. It's a very popular Linux distribution. It's one of the most popular, and I like it because you will see it in the wild a lot, and having familiarity with it I think is a really great advantage. So we're just going to select Ubuntu Server 16.04 right here, which takes us to step 2. Now in step 2, you can see that it defaults to the T2 micro instance type, the free tier. We're going to select that one, which is going to give us 1 CPU and 1 GB of RAM. That's going to be sufficient for most of the work that we're going to be doing here, so we're going to go ahead and go with that one. And click Next to go to the next step where we configure instance details, which we're actually not going to do. We're just going to skip right through this Configure Instance Details step. We're going to go right to Add Storage. Now on this tab, we are going to actually change something. We're sticking to free tier services here, but according to the free tier agreement, we can have up to 30 gigabytes of hard drive space on our instance, so we're going to actually take all 30 there. So put 30 right here under the size of our block storage, our EBS volume, and we're going to click Next to go to the step 5, Add Tags, which we're not going to do. So we go directly to step 6. Now, in the previous video, we created a security group. This is where we're going to use it. We're going to click Select an existing security group, and we see the security groups that we have. The first one here, Basic Jupyter, is the security group that we previously created. And if we look down here at the bottom, we can see that it has the ports that we expect it to have. It has port 22 and port 80. And these are the ports that we're going to need in order to work with our Jupyter Notebook server. So having chosen that security group, we can go to step 7, Review and Launch. Now you're going to see this warning up here at the top. It's going to say, improve your instance's security. Your security group, Basic Jupyter, is open to the world. And this is actually by design. We're not going to be doing a whole lot of tracking our network location and all of that. And we want to actually be able to access this server from anywhere. So this is okay. This warning up here is expected, and it's completely okay for the work that we're going to be doing. We do want to make sure that we're using Ubuntu Server 16.04, which we see right here. T2 Micro, 1 CPU, 1 GB of RAM, security group, Basic Jupyter, with the correct ports open, and those are the things that we need to check. Everything looks good, so we're going to click Launch. Now here is where we're going to choose the key pair that we created in the previous video. We're going to choose an existing key pair. It's one of the 3 options here. We're going to choose the first one, and then we're going to select the key pair that we created, that 2018 Jan that we created in the previous video. I'm going to acknowledge that I have access to that selected private key file, and we are going to launch the instances. Now we go to this launch status screen. What I usually do from here is just immediately I scroll this up a little bit and I click the View Instances button here in the lower right hand corner, which takes me back to the Instances tab in my EC2 dashboard, and we can see the system coming online. We can see the little circle working right here. We see the instance state is pending, and we see all the information for our new instance. Everything's looking good. The thing that we're going to need for the next step is this public IP address. This is going to be the public IP address of our new system. So that is the launching of a new instance. It looks like it just finished coming online. It is now running. I guess one last thing we could verify is we could check the inbound rules. We could check this blue box here and scroll down to the bottom and view the inbound rules, and we can see that indeed it's open on port 80, port 22, everything's looking good, so we are ready to go.